Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at AI-FEEX, or AFX for the coin. We've got the source materials you sent over, and we're going to try and cut through some of the noise. The goal here is really to focus on their strategic roadmap looking ahead.
Yeah, the sources definitely mentioned, some past volatility, maybe some communication issues, but we're setting that aside for now.
Exactly. Pure strategy today.
Yeah.
We want to synthesize what the AFX leadership is actually planning, like step by step. What's their vision? How do they plan to stand out, especially for potential investors trying to understand the potential here?
Okay, so from a strategic view, the first thing that jumps out is this push for a concrete near-term goal. It feels like an effort to, stabilize things and build some confidence back. And that first big milestone is the AICX.
The AI centralized exchange?
Right. And the sources give a pretty specific timeline for that, don't they?
They do. They're aiming for around October 20th for it to be operational.
October 20th. It's quite soon. It signals they're moving from just talking to actually building to hitting engineering targets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And strategically, you can see why the CEX, the centralized exchange, is so critical. It's not just another feature launch. It's the foundation. You need that core infrastructure, that stability, before you can build anything else on top of it.
Like a central hub for everything that comes next.
Exactly. The sources make it clear they're lining up a whole bunch of other ecosystem projects. The plan seems to be to launch them almost like simultaneously or right after the AICX goes live.
So you can't build the fancy house without the solid foundation first.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The AICX provides that functional stability. It's the trading hub, sure, but it's also what makes the whole supply and demand strategy they're talking about even possible. It really is the linchpin.
Okay, so AICX is the internal engine, but the strategy goes beyond just their own platform, which is where it starts to sound, different. This next part, this external partnership idea, that feels like a really unique claim in the materials.
It is. It's a significant strategic pivot, and honestly, it warrants a closer look. Normally in crypto, partnerships are about tech integration, maybe shared users, things like that. But here, the sources talk about discussions with another, apparently major company, who is specifically looking to partner with AFX to, and this is the key part, help support the AFX price.
Wow. Okay, a partnership focused almost purely on the financial side, on the token value.
Right.
Why would another company do that? What's in it for them?
Well, the rationale given is interesting. It suggests a shift in how value is seen in this space. This other company supposedly really values the AFX member base. They see the sheer size and the growth potential of that community as a huge asset.
So the users themselves are the draw.
That's the idea. They see this large engaged group, and they want to offer benefits tied specifically to using AFX. It generates real demand, potentially, just by tapping into that existing network. It kind of elevates the community from just users to a strategic asset that someone else is willing to sort of invest in.
And the sources suggest this isn't just a small trial either. It sounds quite coordinated, globally even.
Yeah, it mentions AFX leaders and leaders from other projects agreeing to work together with this new company, all focused on boosting the coin's value.
That level of coordinated external buy-in, if it pans out, would say a lot about how valuable others perceive that AFX user base to be.
And connecting the dots, the long-term vision isn't just this one deal. It seems to be about ongoing ecosystem building, collaborating with lots of projects over time. This first partnership, especially being focused on price, could be like a proof of concept, showing that AFX built something its community valuable enough for others to invest directly in its market health.
Okay, that lays out a potential path for new demand. Makes sense. But let's be real about the present. The sources are pretty blunt about the current market situation. High volume of AFX hitting the market, companies' own price defense struggling. How are they advising people to handle this immediate pressure? Because that sounds like a tough spot.
It does. And this part of the strategy is, let's say, paradoxical, but maybe quite shrewd for investors who get it. The leadership, specifically mentioned Chinese and U.S. leaders, are apparently telling members not to buy AFX right now.
Wait, don't buy the dip. That's completely counter to the usual crypto mantra.
Exactly. The instruction seems to be, get your cash ready, but wait. Let the current wave of selling finish. They seem to anticipate the price will recover, maybe even rise significantly, once this heavy selling pressure, presumably from early folks or panic sellers, is done.
So telling your own community to stand back, what's the strategic thinking there? Is it admitting they can't defend the price right now, or is it something else?
It could be seen as calculated, maybe even a bit brutal strategically.
Correct.
By telling people not to buy now, they avoid burning through their own funds, trying to fight a losing battle against this flood of supply.
Mm.
More importantly, maybe, it signals they're willing to let the price find a floor, even if it's lower short term, to clear out those sellers. The idea being, once that supply overhang is gone, any new buying, whether from the community later or this external partner, will have a much bigger impact on a cleaner, less volatile market.
Like a controlled burn. A strategic purge, as you put it, to set the stage for real growth later.
That seems to be the thinking. Let the weak hands fold, stabilize the base, then build from there.
All right, so if they manage to ride out this supply storm, what comes next? What are the actual mechanisms they plan to use to flip the script? To systematically boost demand and restrict supply long term, it needs to be more than just hope.
It does. And the playbook outlined in the sources seems to have basically three main prongs for managing those market mechanics.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, demand and utility. That goes back to the external partner. The plan is for their marketing and products to actually require or heavily incentivize using the AFX coin. So that's demand driven by actual use cases from a big partner, not just speculation. That's a key differentiator.
Right, organic demand. Makes sense. What's number two?
Second, reducing the available supply. The sources talk pretty seriously about AFX staking programs being developed.
Ah, staking, so locking up tokens.
Exactly. Encouraging users to lock their AFX away, maybe for rewards or governance rights, which takes those coins out of the day-to-day trading supply. That can artificially tighten the market quite a bit, making any buying pressure more effective.
Okay, utility-driven demand, supply reduction through staking. What's the third piece?
The third is about the fundamental scarcity.
Right.
Despite, the current flood of coins we're seeing, the leadership keeps insisting the total supply of AFX is extremely limited.
Focusing on the hard cap, maybe, long term.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
While the circulating supply is high now, they're emphasizing the ultimate maximum number of coins. The strategic angle is that once the current excess is absorbed and staking locks up more coins, this limited total supply becomes a major advantage when combined with that rising utility-driven demand.
So clear the decks now, then bring in real demand via the partner, lock up supply via staking, and rely on the ultimate fixed total supply. It's a phased approach.
It is a multi-stage plan to shift the supply-demand balance.
But, during all this turbulence, the psychological aspect is huge. Leadership, community trust. How do the sources address commitment and this call for unity they keep mentioning?
They lean into it heavily. The speaker in one source really emphasizes their personal commitment being all in. They even recount having intense arguments with partners about the need for better price defense and clearer communication earlier on.
Trying to build trust by showing they're fighting for the users internally.
That seems to be the intent. Showing dedication, showing they understand the frustrations, and that personal commitment narrative then feeds directly into this strong call for community unity.
Right. They urge everyone to stick together, especially against these malicious forces they mentioned, trying to bring the project down. Sounds like more than just team spirit.
Oh, absolutely. Strategically, malicious forces, in this context, often implies coordinated short-selling attacks or organized FUD campaigns designed to tank the price. By calling for unity, they're essentially trying to mobilize their community as a defensive line,
Right.
resisting panic selling, holding the line on market cap during these vulnerable phases.
So unity becomes a strategic tool in itself.
Yes. The stated belief is that if the community stays strong and united, it will actually encourage better support from the company and these external partners too. Like, showing resilience attracts more backing. For the leadership, it seems unity isn't just nice to have. It's presented as essential for the whole strategic plan to actually work. They're cautioning people. Don't sell low, don't give up now, because time is needed for the AICX, the partnerships, the staking, for all these pieces to fall into place and hopefully drive the value up.
Okay, so stepping back, this deep dive reveals a pretty layered strategy. It's phased, relies quite a bit on using the community almost as a financial buffer or asset, and it's definitely analytical in how it plans to manage the market swings.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. The core strategic takeaway for you, the listener, is really about this phase shift. Phase 1, build a stable foundation with the AICX. Phase 2, secure this really differentiating external partnership focused on utility and, frankly, price support. Phase 3, aggressively use those internal levers staking scarcity narratives to optimize the market dynamics. It shows a clear path, at least on paper, from just defending the price to actively trying to grow it.
And, this heavy reliance on community unity, on mobilizing users emotionally and financially to weather storms and attract partners, it does leave us with a pretty potent question, doesn't it? Is this kind of approach needing strong community cohesion, almost demanding unity, relying on external deals to fix internal supply issues? Is this becoming the new normal for major crypto projects? Are we moving past purely decentralized ideals towards more coordinated, almost quasi-centralized strategic defense? And if so, how much weight should an investor really place on the strength and unity of the community versus the original tech promises? Something to think about as we watch this AIFEX roadmap play out. That wraps up our deep dive into the AIFEX strategic blueprint. Hope this analysis brought some clarity to their complex plans. Thanks for joining us.